1:30 and then we'll get started. So just hang tight and we'll be with you soon. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to say it's nice to see you all, but I can see little tiny tiles for some of you. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Janice Aki, and I'm the Dean of Health, Wellness, and Human Services for Lakeland College, and really excited to have a virtual open house and share some of the exciting things that are happening in human services programming with all of you today. Some housekeeping items to share. There should be a note in the chat that talks about, I guess you're authorizing us to record this session. This session will be recorded. The recording will be shared on our website. If you ask a question, those questions will appear in the chat. We would appreciate you using the chat feature to ask questions. If you did have something that you wanted to say, you can certainly raise your hand and share it verbally if you'd prefer. But we found that utilizing the chat allows all of us to see the question, and whoever is best to respond can do it via the chat, and we can just proceed through with our presentation from there. So hopefully that'll work for you, and we will get started. So human services, what do we offer in the human services department? So we have a number of programs offered on our Vermilion campus, online, and some programs are actually offered at the School for the Deaf in Edmonton. We have programming in English. We have some programs available in French, and we have someone who's going to speak to you a little bit more about that later. So the programs that take place on our Vermilion campus, the Child and Youth Care Diploma, which is a 2-year program offered in Vermilion and online. Either method is available to you. Early Learning and Childcare Certificate and Diploma, both of those again in Vermilion and online. Educational Assistant Certificate, same is true there. If you want to come to campus, we'd love to have you. If you want to stay home and do the program from home, you can do that as well. American Sign Language and Deaf Culture Studies Certificate. That program we offer in a variety of methods. Face-to-face, I'm going to admit someone. Face-to-face, part-time, full-time, online, whatever is the best method for you to learn. We have an avenue available in that program. Sign Language Interpretation Diploma. That again is in Edmonton out of the Alberta School for the Deaf, typically. I should have a little caveat. Most things typically happen this way. Nothing is typical about 2020, and we've been doing a mix of online and face-to-face for a variety of things this year. As you can all appreciate, open house being no exception to that. Normally, typically, we would have students on campus, and this year we're doing it virtually. The last two programs that I'll mention are Animal Assisted Wellness and Community Mental Health, both certificate programs offered only online, and they are post-credential programs. So again, we'll tell you a little bit more about what that means a little later, and happy to answer any questions that you have as we go through this presentation if any of those programs are of interest to you. And I guess thinking about that interest, why would you want to take a human services program? There's tons of reasons why, and I'm going to have our faculty and some of our students speak to some of those reasons. There's a list here that I'll highlight, and the number one thing on our list is hands-on learning. At Lakeland, we take a student-managed approach to our program delivery. We want students to understand the workforce that they will hopefully enter into upon completion of their program, and we find ways to interweave that into the program experience. You will hear multiple different ways that we do that at Lakeland throughout the presentation, and it's certainly something that we're proud of. It's what I think makes us a leader, and industry is looking to hire our grads because they come with that experience when they leave our program. The Animal Assisted Interventions course is the only one of its kind offered in human services programs in Alberta, probably in Canada. It's a really neat course that some of our students can speak to a little bit later, and we actually dovetailed that into a complete program, which you'll learn a little bit more about. Degree transferring potential, students can complete our programs, and if you are interested in pursuing a degree later, you can transfer credits to different institutions in Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan. Many of our programs are transferable, so if that's something you're interested in, that's definitely an option for you after completing your program at Lakeland. The leadership experiences, as I've mentioned, with our student-managed learning. The experienced instructors, and I shouldn't speak to this, I'll let our students speak to it, but I will tell you, I couldn't be more proud of the faculty that we have here in human services. Our students matter. You're not a number. We care about you as individuals. We want to see you be successful, and we will do all that we can to provide you with all of those tools. At the end of the day, it is up to you, but you couldn't ask for a more supportive team than the team here in human services. Options for further studies towards degree, touched on that. 4-week practicums. The practicum experiences that we have in human services are probably what sets us apart. We do academic studies for 11 weeks in our 15-week semester, and then we have a dedicated 4-week practicum every semester within your program. So it gives you the option to connect with employers. It gives you options to explore different avenues of a particular field of study. You might think this is the area I'm definitely going to work in. You go on a practicum and come back and go, maybe I'm second guessing that and want to try something different. Perfect. Your next practicum will look to do a little bit of a different experience for you so that we can try to find the right fit. The Silver Medal Program Excellence Award is something we're really proud of in human services. A few years back, I think it was 2015 or 16, could be wrong, a few years back, we'll say that. We were nominated for a Program Excellence Award with College and Institutes Canada for our programming in early learning and childcare. That program was one of the first programs that we transitioned to online, so allowing students to be able to complete their program face-to-face or online while they work. The play program is something that we're very proud of in our early learning and childcare program, and we were able to give our online students that play program experience, which really set our program apart. We offer that program in English and French. Lots of exciting things happening in early learning and childcare. We're really proud of it. We think it's one of the best in Canada, and CICAN thought so too. So we're pretty proud of that award, and it couldn't happen without the amazing faculty and staff that we have here at Lakeland. So I'm going to leave it there for me and turn it over to our first amazing instructor who you will meet, and his name is Derek Collins, and he's going to speak to you about the Child and Youth Care Program.
Thanks, Janice. Yeah, I'm one of the instructors. My name is Derek here in Child and Youth Care, and we've got some really excited about this program. It's really neat. We've got 4 opportunities for practicums over the 2 years. Some of our students have seen some really interesting experiences and with a wide variety of agencies, but I'll let our students talk more about that. And there are some excellent options in there, certainly around the animal-assisted intervention and also with play programs, depending on the ages and different people that you want to interact with. Child and Youth Care really covers a wide variety of agencies and ages to work with. So we're quite proud of those partnerships. And we're quite proud too that we've just become a member of the Child and Youth Care Association of Alberta and the Accreditation Board of Canada. I'm not going to do much more talking than that. I think you're probably better served by hearing from some of our students that we have online and hear about their practicums and what they really like about the program. So I'm going to first just call on, because I see her beside me on the little squares, Logan.
Yes. Okay. So do you want me to answer questions that you gave me, or?
Sure. Or tell us about your practicums or some of your...
I actually personally, I haven't been on a practicum yet, so I'm unable to share that experience.
Well, you are working right now, so...
But yeah, well, I did work at a place here in my hometown called the Core Child Care Society, and it very similar work to what I probably would have done on a practicum. I worked with kids. I would go in the morning and I'd greet them, and like if they haven't eaten breakfast, and you'd sit down, eat breakfast with them, or they'd have a snack, and basically you just played games with them all day, made sure that they were having fun and enjoying themselves. And the program was from ages 5 to 12, so there was quite a range. Like if you got a little bored of doing one thing, if you didn't want to be playing in the gym anymore, then there's plenty of other kids playing board games or painting or doing other things. So it was pretty great. And then, so the reason that I decided to take child and youth care, primarily my family suffered a tragic loss when I was 14. And after that, I was in a really bad place mentally and like didn't really see much of an end to it. And then I actually I started counseling myself because it was suggested to me that maybe it would be something that would help me. And it completely changed everything for me. Like my whole life turned around. The viewpoints that I had were immensely, like so much more positive. I was actually able to see good in things and in life again. And just the way that she was able to help me, being able to completely change my whole mindset from being so negative to so positive. That was such an incredible thing that I want to be able to do that for other people.
Awesome. Thanks, Logan. Cheyenne, I think you're on there. If you want to join us and share your experiences in child and youth care. We got
Yes.
Cheyenne.
Yeah. Sorry. So child and youth care. So I am an ELCC graduate, so I'll talk more about that then. But I'm currently enrolled in CYC online. I'm doing it from home in Edmonton due to COVID. So before there was a lot of questions about online. How's it like? What's it like? I'm just diving into the CYC program, so I don't have any practicums from CYC yet. However, I did grow up in foster care, so understanding like the complexity of families and studying different kind of families is really eye-opening. And what I really love so far about CYC, just how to help youth in all areas of aspects, not just in the development of infants and toddlers. So with CYC online, I love it. If you're scared to go online, don't be scared. The teachers, like I'll use Derek as an example. He is one of my instructors this semester. I was struggling with an assignment that was due on like Monday. I emailed Derek at like 11 o'clock on Sunday, being like, I need help. I'm struggling. And he emailed me right in the morning and we scheduled a time to connect. So your teachers are still going to support you even though you're online. They're going to support you throughout all. Like they're super, super friendly and approachable. And there's lots of discussions to do to get to know your classmates, to interact with your class as well. And yeah, so far CYC is really fun. I'm really enjoying learning about family structures, learning about behaviors, learning about the complexity of it all. And I can't wait for my first practicum in CYC. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Cheyenne. And we have one other student on. Kara, I think you're on. If you want to tell us about your experiences in the program.
Yeah, I'm like Cheyenne. I took early learning and childcare last year, so I only have the certificate. And I started my diploma in child and youth care this year. And like she said, even in person, the teachers really get to know who you are. They know your first name. They know which name you prefer to be called if you have a nickname, and they like really get to know you. And if you're not in class, they email you and say, hey, how you doing? What are you missing? And they always make sure that you're ready to go. I haven't done a practicum in child and youth care yet, but my practicum for early learning and childcare was awesome. It's actually one of the best parts of being in Lakeland is they give you so many opportunities for practicum. So they make sure that you go somewhere that you want to try out. And for me, I went to a daycare and I realized that early learning and childcare wasn't what I really wanted to do because it's the same thing every day and I wanted to do something different every day. So then they helped me transition into child and youth care, and I'm actually really enjoying all the classes, and I'm learning about how many different places you can work in child and youth care, and that's what's really eye-opening to me is you can work everywhere from a school to a hospital, and that's what actually is really interesting me is working in a hospital. So I'm headed into my degree when I finish my diploma here, and Lakeland is actually helping me set up to get ready to go to university after I'm done here.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Thanks, Kara. So that's a quick overview of our program, especially probably more importantly to hear it from the students. If you have any questions, make sure you throw them down in the chat and we'll try to answer them there, or just put up your hand. And so back to you, Janice.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Derek, and thank you to our students. It's always great to hear that feedback and the excitement and passion that our students have about their program. Really appreciate it. So next we're going to talk about early learning and childcare, and I believe Amanda Sargent will speak to you about the certificate and diploma programs.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Janice. So we have in early learning and childcare both a certificate and a diploma. Students often come to us and take their certificate, then they can go on and do other things, or they can continue on into the diploma. And a certificate allows you to get certification as a level 2 or a child development worker here in Alberta. And then a diploma gives you certification as level 3 or a child development supervisor when you leave us here. So some of the good things about our program is, again, we offer 4 practicums over the 2 years 2 in the certificate, 2 in the diploma. We do have the privilege of working with our Child Development Center here on campus for those students that are on campus, and students get to observe the children and work and implement activities with them. So that's really a highlight of our program here. And we also have a play program, like Janice mentioned, and I think one of our students will be able to talk about that because she got to work on that last year. And I think I have a couple students here. I think Tessa's here, so we'll maybe let her talk about her experience so far. Tessa, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, awesome.
So, I'm Tessa. This is my 3rd year. Picking the Lakeland College was like really high on the list when I decided to go into school because I am from Vermilion. So the ability for me to like still live at home but have such a great like program to take at home was a huge deal for me because I'm able to save money and all that. And lots of older family friends have taken this program and they had such great like feedback for me when I was like thinking about where to go to school. So that was a huge impact on why I chose the college. Growing up, I'm like the oldest out of all my family, like my immediate family. All my cousins and stuff are all younger. So I always grew up babysitting them or like hanging out with them. So that was what made me choose to go into childcare because I love being with kids and like watching them learn and grow. So being able to help teach them and give them the ability to like grow and learn is huge. Some highlights for me are the practicums. I'm a really shy person, and being able to actually go out into the field to do practicums was like huge for me because it's helped me gain confidence and like know that I can speak up and like say like give my opinion on like different ways we can do stuff and such. Some other highlights are like the daycare that we have at the college, having those kids at the school to be able to observe, and we actually get to interact with them and hang out with them and make activities and stuff for them to do. So that is big. I really enjoy that. And yeah, that's about it. I really enjoy this program. I love it. It's so fun. And the instructors are great. They're able to work with you one-on-one. Our classes are really small compared to other places. So like we have the ability to go and talk to the instructors and be like, I'm having troubles with this or that, or just even just to go and talk to them just about anything. They always listen, and they really like put what you need in together to like help you if you're having troubles. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Tessa. That's great. Yeah, I think everyone does. When we're able to, we're really happy to be working with the children. It looks a little bit different this year, but we're still finding ways to engage with them. So yeah, thanks so much. I should mention too that our practicums you could do practicums in childcare centers, in day homes, as well as schools. And we do work with children from 0, so infants, to school age. And I think Cheyenne, are you still there? Could share
Yeah,
with us? Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so we'll dive a little bit more into this now. So yeah, I started off in ELCC. I did 2 years on the Vermilion campus, and I was able to do 4 practicums. So my first practicum was actually at a school setting. I was working in an early, they called it like early education, I think. And it was just like preschool. So they're really little. And I actually ended up snagging a job there that I still have to this day as a educational assistant substitute, which is really fun. So that was able to give me a job that supported me all for now 2 years. I did another practicum in a daycare, which was really fun. They hired me for this summer. It was my second practicum right at the end, so I was able to stay for the 2 months of the summer. And then my third one, which is what we are really known for, I think, as Janice said earlier, that the play program is like the only one in Canada, which we should be really proud of because it was really fun. I was really scared and nervous at first, and I would always tell Kelly that I never wanted to do it. I was really shy, but I ended up doing it, and I loved it. And after our first session this morning, I kind of thought of 3 words that I could do to describe the play program and how to explain it. And it's open, operate, and succeed. So for your opening, you're going to be working as a class to advertise your daycare. Think of a theme for the daycare, plan it, register kids into your play program. So you're reaching out to Vermilion and looking for children that you and your classmates can run this program for 4 weeks. And then you operate it. So we need to plan daily meals, plan daily activities, and all that stuff, and then succeed. Succeeding is super easy in this one because you have your team of peers all learning together, and then you have your staff that are supervising what you're doing. They're never really in the class, they let you do it themselves, but there's cameras in the rooms that can make sure you're on track. But pretty much you as a second year and your peers are opening a daycare in Lakeland College, which I think is really cool, really unique. And then unfortunately my 4th practicum was supposed to be in Hawaii because Human Services don't know if they still are because of COVID, probably not, but maybe in the future again. They do a lot of international practicums. So we were about to head to Hawaii until the borders were closed. So that was really fun. But ELCC, you work with the little ones, you play with them. All of the stuff was so hands-on. We were decorating rooms all the time, planning crafts, arts and crafts. In Amanda's classes in ELCC, there was a lot of hands-on creations in class as well. One time she just gave us a bunch of art supplies and said, make a portrait of yourself. She did relate that back to how you would do that with children, but it was just really fun. Very easy class, which was really nice. And they really care about you as an individual. Like Janice said, I don't think I was ever referred to as a number. I don't even know my student number. They know me by name. They know me by like my story. They're always there to help. So Lakeland College is a really great college. I could have went to McEwen in Edmonton since I'm from here, but I looked into my research. I liked Lakeland, rural setting, smaller class sizes, less intimidating. So yeah, I recommend Lakeland College. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Cheyenne. It was great to hear from you. I think that's everybody we have, Janice.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you, Amanda, and thank you to our students. I love open, operate, succeed. I wrote that down, Cheyenne. That's a really great way to explain play program. Appreciate it. So our next program we're going to feature is our Educational Assistant Program, and Joanne McDonald, the Chair of Human Services Programming and Instructor Extraordinaire, will talk to you a little bit about this program.
Muted. Hi and welcome. It's wonderful to get an opportunity to talk about our programs. We are very, very proud of what we do in human services, and so I'm going to focus a little bit on the Educational Assistant Program this time. So one of the things that I think about the Educational Assistant Program that's so special is that we have great community partners. So on a typical year, students get a chance to get into our local schools right away and have those opportunities to work with children basically right from the beginning of the semester almost, where they start in with observation and then get an opportunity to go into the classrooms. I say that's a typical year because yes, 2020 isn't typical, but we are also able as well to set up 2 practicums. So we really do try to give students in the Educational Assistant Certificate Program an opportunity to experience both an elementary school setting and then also a junior senior high setting, because sometimes those experiences help us to determine, you know, which group of students I feel most comfortable with and which group of students I connect with the best. And so certainly that's a big piece of the EA program. I do have the wonderful opportunity to teach the sensory development course, which is kind of one of a kind in the EA program, where we look at how the environment affects children and how we can help children to develop through their sensory systems and be able to learn better. So we as well offer electives within that program. So EA students do get a chance to kind of streamline their program a little bit to what interests them. And one of those courses that I'm going to talk about is the American Sign Language ASL 101 course is one of the options. Students also get an opportunity to take play, or they get an opportunity to take a personal development course that helps them with if they were to do tube feeding or have to do lifts and transfers with individuals that they might be working with. So there's many opportunities for employment. And I know as Cheyenne was speaking, I'm like, yep, went on a practicum and we almost didn't get her back. And that is kind of a little bit the case in lots of our EA situations as well. If a student goes out on practicum and it's a really good fit, we often are saying to the school that's wanting to hire them, no, we need them back for a second semester. So that's a wonderful statement, I guess, to the opportunities that the students get and the connection that we have to their possibilities for employment. We do offer the EA program online as well. So there is that option of working and taking courses at the same time. We would recommend that it be a part-time program if you're working at the time, but we do have a very robust online program for the EA students as well. So with that, I don't want to talk too much. I do want to turn it over to Erica. Are you with us?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm Erica. I started out in early learning and childcare last year and found out it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it as much. So I switched to educational assistant, and I have not gone on practicum yet, but at the beginning of when I switched to EA, we got to go into the school and be with the kids. And one of our assignments that I did in my TA class was a game board assignment. So you build a game and then you take it into the school and do it with the kids. And yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. Thanks, Erica.
Thanks, Joe, and thank you, Erica. One thing I'm going to mention before we get into our next program, you've heard the students talking about I started here and now I'm here. Another great part of human services programming is we have several courses that we refer to as core courses amongst those three programs that we discussed this morning. So CYC, EA, and ELCC share some common curriculum. And as a student in those programs, you might be in a classroom with students who are enrolled in another program, but you're all completing the same course. So if you happen to start ELCC and after your first practicum, or maybe after your first month of study, you realize, I think I'm more suited to child and youth care or educational assistant, we have those conversations with you and we work out a plan so that we can transition you in the program that's the best fit for you. That's the beauty of practicums as well. It really gives you that insight on the field and whether or not this is a career that is right for you. And if it so happens to not be, but you still want this human services type of career choice, there's other options. And you may have to, it may extend your program a little bit, or it may not, depending on when you've made that decision to transition. And because we have face-to-face options and online options, you can perhaps pick up a course in a spring semester that you typically wouldn't do if you were in a face-to-face program, but that allows you to get the courses you need and not extend the duration of your program, even though you may have made a different programming choice. So there's lots of flexibility. I think at the end of the day, we want to ensure that students are in the program that's the right fit for them and that they can have a career for a very long time or pursue other educational opportunities after they leave Lakeland. So those are definite options available to you in our programs. So next up, we're going to talk about our sign language programming that we offer in online and in Edmonton. And I'm going to let Joanne come back and speak to you about these programs as well.
Yeah, so thanks, Janice. our American Sign Language Deaf Culture Studies is a program that helps you to learn American Sign Language. So it takes you through the complete spectrum to become able to converse in sign, as well as to learn about deaf culture and some of the different protocols that go along with deaf culture, and be more aware of the culture itself. So the ASL 101 that I referred to is currently being offered online, and you would think to yourself, how does that happen online? So we do use Zoom as our platform. We are very proud to have a team of deaf instructors. They really use that platform to teach you American Sign Language from the deaf cultural perspective. And so we do offer it as an online program part-time in the evenings, if that's what interests you. We have in the past offered it at Alberta School for the Deaf, which is a wonderful location to be able to experience that program, because you are in the community hub basically for the deaf community. Of course, we're in our COVID year, so we are doing it through Zoom at this time. And we have also offered it as a full-time program at Alberta School for the Deaf in the past. So I mentioned it briefly as one of the options that you could take in EA, but it's also an option that you could pick up for your ELCC or your CYC, which is really beneficial if you did end up working with individuals from the deaf community. You could use those sign language skills to be able to communicate. So it is a really, really neat program. It makes me want to get my hands up in the air, and I don't sign. So we have a great, absolutely amazing team of individuals that provide that program. I'm going to mention Jody Morrison as the person to connect with if you are interested in the program, and I will type her name into the chat just a little bit later so that people can connect with her. And then our sign language interpretation program. So this is also a very unique program. We are one of 5 programs in Canada. And it really looks at, once you are fluent and really strong in sign language, the ability to provide that channel for communication between English and signing. And so it takes a very special skill set to be able to sign what you're hearing in one language in another, or vice versa. So to see sign language and then be able to put it back into English. And so our sign language interpretation students work in a real broad range of places. They could be in school settings doing interpreting. They could be in a doctor's office. They could be in a lawyer's office. They could be in a community-based setting. They are really now using video relay too in order to be able to connect and have individuals understand what's spoken in English in their own language and vice versa. So it does take a very, very special skill set. And again, we have a great, absolutely amazing team of individuals that work with students to develop those skills. It is a 2-year program, and it is offered at Alberta School for the Deaf as well. Currently, we are using Zoom as well in that program, just so that they get an opportunity to be able to spread out a little bit more. We need to be following all of the protocols for COVID. So this is another way that they've been able to be really creative and offer the program to students in a way that's still very manageable and very fluent, but allows them to be able to do what we need to do for the program area.
Thank you, Jo. Next up, we're going to talk about our 2 post-credential programs that we offer online, and I have Kelly Mazerol is going to speak to those programs for us.
Hi, I also wanted to mention and follow up from what Janice said is that we offer early learning and childcare and educational assistant online in French. So if you know some French, there's a lot of job opportunities there as well, so you're able to take the programs in French. Because our animal assisted interpretation course was intervention course was so successful, we decided to develop a certificate. So what happens is once you take your educational assistant or you take child and youth care or early learning and child care and you want to specialize, you can then move into one of our post-credential, we call it certificates. So you can't come directly into here if you have no other post-secondary background in college or university. So it's 9 courses plus 1 practicum. And what it does is combine what we know about animals and how they interact with humans. You take your human service knowledge and apply it to then animal-assisted intervention. So it could be having a child read a book to a dog. It could be we've seen people bring horses to seniors' homes to help with isolation. So it's creating that bond between the animal and the person. We are very fortunate to be able to partner with dream catchers out of Adrossan, where they have donkeys and turkeys and chickens and llamas and a whole bunch of animals that you learn about and learn how to work with in order to add another skill set to your resume. So it's sort of a specialty then, if that's something that you're interested in, to be able to enhance your resume and find other jobs and opportunities in the field. We also know that mental health is very prevalent in society, so we've created a community mental health certificate. So it's the same idea. If you take your educational assistant or child and youth care and you would like to specialize, then we have 9 courses and a practicum in mental health. The courses are offered online and a part-time basis, so you could be working in the field while you're developing this as a specialty. Do you have anything to add, Joe?
I think you've done a great job, Kel. Thanks very much. I will say that often students that are coming from one of our previous programs, we do have some transfer credit. So in order to go on and continue in a post-credential program, you may only need to take 6 out of the 9 courses because you would have credit for some of the courses already listed in the program based on your previous certificate or diploma. And we do look very closely at the opportunities for individuals that are transferring even from programs outside of our college, from other post-secondary programs, to look at their courses and see if we could find some transfer credit for them in order to allow them to be able to take the courses that then would really enhance their profile or enhance their resume. So thank you very much. No, I think that's great. I will say that maybe sometimes when people are thinking about online, they think of online as, oh, here's the course materials and you just go to it and do it in your own time, in your own space. Our online program is very specifically designed to be instructor-led or have instructor engagement, as well as engagement with your classmates. So we are really focused on creating a community of learners so that those interactions are very much part of the course materials and part of learning more with relation to those people that are in your class as well as your instructor. So we do run it over 10 weeks. So each week content is rolled out over those 10 weeks, and then there is discussions, there is assignments, and there is opportunities to get feedback throughout the course in order to be able to move on to get the course completed. So it is a bit of a structured timeline as far as completion.
One thing that I want to mention as well is Kelly Mazerel, who just presented these 2 post-credential online programs. Kelly is an instructor in human services, and she also works as an academic advisor for online programming. So it's great to have Kelly in that role. If you're considering taking a human services program and thinking you want to try to balance work and college at the same time, Kelly will work with you and develop a plan. You may have experience that you want to utilize, or you've done coursework before. It's really great to have Kelly to chat with about what courses you should take in what semester, and she can really organize that plan for you so you can get the program done in a succinct amount of time and what's going to meet your needs. You may call her up and say, well, I'm going to do 5 courses and I have 3 children and I have a full-time job. She's probably going to say, we recommend you not do that. And you may think, no, I can handle it. Sometimes you need to listen to some of the advice that you'll be given. We've had many students who wanted to do that, and within a few weeks they realized there's a ton of work to this, and navigating online, while some students can do it, and I won't say that it's not possible, but it's not advisable. We usually recommend to do 2 courses at a time in an online environment, and it really is because we want to see you be successful. So if you're thinking about an online program option, please, Kelly, I think put her information in the chat. Please reach out to Kelly and she'll give you some information further from there. I know my screen is circling. I'm not sure if it's circling for you, but.
Yes, Janice, it's circling for us too.
Okay. I'm able to click to the next slide. So hopefully you can see International Practicum and Hawaii on your screen. Awesome. So I know Cheyenne mentioned International Practicum, and it is a program option that we have available to students. We try to do an international practicum every other year in human services programs. We were scheduled, as Cheyenne mentioned, to travel to Hawaii in the spring, and unfortunately, due to the pandemic, that trip was canceled. We will try again when things stabilize and normalize. We've been providing that option to students for a number of years, and it's an awesome opportunity to experience another culture, perhaps, and a different system in a different country. We've gone to Hawaii for the last number of years. We have done other international practicum trips. We've done Australia, we've done the Dominican Republic. Hawaii seems to be a location where we've established some really strong connections. It's an English-speaking country. There's an element of safety, I think, when you enter Hawaii that just made us all feel good about that location. It's not to say that that will be the location we always travel to, but it has been a location where we found students were successful. We've always allowed students to really tell us where you want to go. And once we provide them with the option of Hawaii, it's kind of a no-brainer. So who knows if that will be the location for our next trip. I'm betting it will be, and for all of the reasons that I've just indicated. It's a lovely climate, it's a lovely location, great partnerships, great learning experiences that students will have. I don't think we have any, do we have any students on the call today that have participated in an international practicum? Don't think we have, but Joe, I can defer to you if you want to say anything else about the international practicum opportunity.
I might defer to Kelly as was the one who was last there.
Yes, so it's every other year, right? So the fact is that hopefully then we'd be able to schedule it for the students then to design where they would like to go. As per usual, we ask you where you would like to go on practicum. So we have partnerships with a number of agencies in Hawaii. So we did a school. So we had the educational assistant students went into the school. Early learning, they went into their Head Start program where they're called aunties instead of early childhood educators because of the feeling of ohana, where you are all family. So you can be an auntie or an uncle once you join them, everybody's family. And child and youth care, they worked with an agency that provides outreach services. So they were working with homeless families. When we think Hawaii, we think paradise. However, it is a big American city. And so there are tent cities on the beaches, in the parks. So they were doing outreach programs for the families there. And we were very welcomed. It was safe. Yes, we did some fundraising because it is a little bit of expensive. We stayed in condos and then used public transit to get around the island. We had a couple activities that were optional activities. And of course, we went to a luau. So there are fundraising opportunities. Sometimes there's a grant that's available that we can apply for international opportunities that helped reduce the cost for students a little bit. And of course, it's depending on numbers. Usually we try to go for our spring practicum. So April in Hawaii, it was beautiful on the beach with the scent of the flowers. Good. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Cal. Yeah, at this point, I think we do just want to open it up to questions to ask if you have any questions. We know that often if you have questions, somebody else also has questions. So please don't hesitate to raise your hand or type them in the chat. We'll do our best to help answer those questions with relation to any of the programs that we offer here at Lakeland College.
Thank you, Derek. Derek is putting in a little quiz that we've developed. So those of you who've attended today, we're going to put you to the test and ask that you click on the link, short little quiz to see if you can remember some of the things we talked about today. If you submit that quiz, we'll enter you in for a draw, and we've got some Lakeland swag that we're happy to send out to you.
Okay, so Maddie has just asked about what some of the high school requirements are for some of these programs. So Maddie, the information is on our website under our academic admissions. However, I would say that the main requirement is that we look at your English as a requirement for the programs. So each program has a little bit different standard for the English that is required. It does based on your high school transcripts, typically, unless you're coming from another public post-secondary institution. And so we can get that link into the chat for you so that you can look at the specifics of the requirements for each program.
I want to make sure I remind anyone who's considering a program at Lakeland College, Human Services, or any other program otherwise, this is your weekend to do it. It is an opportunity for you to apply for free, so please visit the Lakeland website and click on the Apply Now button. There's a promo code that's listed there that you would have to enter so that you will not have to pay the $90 application fee. And I would hope that that may be something that you'll consider. We would love to have you as part of our programs and part of Lakeland College, part of our family here at Lakeland College. I know several of us have entered our email addresses into the chat. Please feel free to reach out to anyone who's here today. We're happy to answer any questions. Our admissions team can answer questions if you have specific things that you want to know about entrance requirements. Everything should be listed on the website, and I know Kelly just put up some links, so please visit, reach out, call. We can set up another Teams meeting to meet with you personally. Happy to do that too, and hope that we can see students here. We have students face-to-face this year, despite the pandemic. We've been offering as much as we can face-to-face while socially distancing and following all the protocol. And hopefully we can return to normal sooner rather than later. And if there
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. I'm enjoying Derek's little man here in the.
Yep. Thank you to everyone, to our faculty and our staff and our students. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your willingness to participate today and share your experience at Lakeland. Yeah, just really thankful to be a part of this team. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and hope to see you soon. Bye.